Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the next reaction to Are You Afraid of the Dark Season 3. Last episode we watched was the tale of the doll maker, and that was creepy. I didn't remember anything about the episode going into it other than that image of the girl that I had, which turned out to be the girl's friend that disappeared, but she was trapped inside the dollhouse turning into a doll. And I was surprised by how creepy it was because, I don't know, just with dolls, I think the presumption, especially with it being the early 90s, it was going to be girly, maybe not that exciting. I don't really know. I just know that this show in particular does stereotype a lot of things like, oh my god, I can't believe you're called Sam and you're a girl. That kind of stuff. But I actually really enjoyed myself. I thought the twisted story of the girl that went missing, the family that just moved out, was kind of dark. But then when you find out about the dollhouse and the door that transports the girl into it, there's a lot of interesting things to talk about, and I had a really good time with it. But my plan, as I said in the other episode, was to not listen to any podcasts. And I made a mistake and I started listening to them. The reason I say I made a mistake is because it affects my mindset when it comes to my ranking at the end of the season. So there's episodes of this season in particular that I've loved, and I listen to podcasts about them, and they don't love them, and it kind of starts to taint my opinion a little bit. So I've decided to, again, take a step away from the podcasts because I want to go into this as fresh as possible. And so that when I get to my ranking at the end of the season, it's all my opinion, not my opinion mixed in with other people's opinions, if that makes sense. So let's jump into the episode. So this one's called The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. Now, full transparency, this is probably the only one in series 3 that I have a really good memory of. I don't remember every detail, but what I do remember is that I loved this episode as a kid for a couple of reasons. One, I like reading a lot as a child. I read all the time, Goosebumps, Spine Chillers, Bone Chillers, Animorphs, all that kind of stuff. So I read a lot of books, or episodes that was about books, like Final Wish. I was like, yo, this is going to be for me. Good, this is going to be good. Also, it is going to be a really weird thing to say, but babysitter stories I quite enjoy. Because I never had one as a kid, it always seemed like more of an American thing. Like in our world, you tend to just have friends or family that look after you. The whole babysitter thing, I think, is quite an interesting storyline in these children's horror anthologies where babysitter comes over and not everything's as she appears to be. And there's an image in this episode that used to scare me quite a lot, which I'll talk about when we get to it. But yeah, I have quite a good memory of this episode, not all the details, so I'm excited to see how it is, how I remember it, how different it is from what I remember, and how it all turns out. In terms of who's going to tell it, because it's one that I know that I really like, I'm going to guess Betty Ann. No, she told the doll one. Maybe it's Betty Ann again, because we know they mess around with the order of who tells what. So if it's not Betty Ann, maybe Frank. I don't think he's told a story yet. So let's jump into the episode, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know down below in the comments what you thought, and subscribe for the rest of Series 3 of Are You Afraid of the Dark. Let's jump into Series 3, Episode 6, The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter.
Hey, yo, here, let me take them.
That's okay, I got it.
I'm going to say,
Babe, they're way too heavy.
babe.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
Will you stop trying to be such a guy all the time?
Whoa.
You're right.
Frank, you asked for that,
Yeah,
bitch.
for a girl. Making a mess again, Frankie? Let me see. Sorry, hands off.
Is that book part of your story?
Sorta.
Yay,
My
Betty
story's about
Ann.
stories.
Say what?
We tell all kinds of horror stories about demons and ghosts and stuff. But no matter what a story's about, there's only one thing that makes it really scary. What's that? Your imagination.
Huh?
If you're really into a story, you become part of it, and you start to imagine what a horrible thing might be sneaking around the corner.
That is really
ready to
true.
pounce.
It's like when you watch a horror film and you get scared
And you
to go
start
to bed or
wonder
scared to turn the lights off.
what you'd do if you were the one facing the monster. The
Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. I'm so excited for this one.
Everybody's favorite babysitter. Her advertisement in the newspaper said, "For kids who hate babysitters." That's it. And a phone number.
Belinda! I almost forgot.
Thursday, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, how did you...
See you then.
So I used to always think at this point, I was like, oh my god, she's a witch. I can't remember what she turns out to be, if anything. But like the cloak, the spooky screaming book. That was me most nights, to be fair. Sat on the sofa, getting fat, eating carbs.
You working tonight? I told you.
Got a young couple interested in the Talbot place. I think they're
Real
going to
estate
make an offer
agent.
this evening.
Mom, I'm 12 years old.
Exactly. Now this girl comes highly recommended. Please don't be too hard on her. Not like
To be
others.
fair, looking at the kind of kid that he appears to be, he would have just sat in front of in the TV anyway, so kid after my own heart.
Good evening, Mrs. Winter. I'm Belinda.
So what is your secret? Every parent I've talked to just knows.
It's simple. I have imagination.
Oh.
Where's Ricky?
Oh,
She's up to something.
Don't worry. I brought some books for us to read.
There was something about her hair that used to freak me out as well, because it's so like styled very specifically.
all right then. I'll just.
Good night.
There's something very mysterious about Belinda. I think that's what I always used to be attracted to. Not to her, but to this episode. I was like, it's a creepy babysitter comes in. She's obviously up to no good. Well, potentially. And because I was that kid that would just sit in front of the TV all night, I found this quite exciting.
Hey, I really like that drawing on your shirt. What does it mean?
It's a metal bed that. Hey, I don't want to get to know you. I don't need a babysitter.
So that was really loud.
Wow! You must be extraordinarily, amazingly mature.
Yeah, I am. So keep out of my way.
We are going to read some books.
God, he looked so offended by that. Ooh,
How did you do that?
magic.
I'll tell you what. You read a book for a few minutes and I'll leave you alone the rest of the night.
Then I can watch TV all I want?
If that's what'll make you happy.
Man, you're
Dude, don't realise that that's a trap.
It was late on a dark, moonless night as a wild storm raged across the moors.
Are you reading
The
Wuthering
hideous
Heights?
witch flew
Oh,
close to the
maybe not.
lonely cottage, swooped down and
Heathcliff.
banged on the
Heathcliff.
door. What?
The book's
that?
coming to life.
Give yourself a chance to get into the story. Use your imagination.
Yeah.
She is right with books. Sometimes books take a while to get going.
Sword. Could be okay.
Good. I like that one a lot.
As battles raged, the courtyard ran crimson with the blood of fallen warriors. Yet now all was
Wow.
silent, all was still, as if the very memory of these dreadful events continued to haunt the Mel.
Can she see that?
Yeah, that's it. This one's lousy too. Too many words.
Too many words.
No. Once you start a book, you really should finish it.
What's this?
Nope. Not that one.
What do you mean? I thought you wanted me to read.
Stop being a whiny little boy. This
You're
is a
not
special book.
ready for this one
It's a horror book.
yet.
All right, forget it.
I wouldn't go out there if I were you.
Good thing you're not me.
Good thing you're not me. This kid's funny, but whiny and irritating. Oh, that's the thing that was behind him. Okay, so this is what I think I don't ever picked up on as a kid. Because you read a bit about the witch book, you read a bit about the night book. So I think they're both coming to life. Because he didn't finish either book. Like she said, it's rude not to finish a book.
Look what you made me do. Why don't you...
Oh. Oh my god, that's creepy. Oh. I'd be scared if that was in my house as well. That's the way he's floating as well, that's quite creepy. That's really well done.
There's a...
Night in your bedroom and a ghost in the hall. I know.
They're real.
You had no idea what you were reading, did you?
So why is she putting books into the fire?
Stupid books. There's a...
Don't you see they came from books?
Burn the books and they go away?
But would you have to finish the story
Exactly.
for them to go away? I don't know.
Ricky, don't listen to her. Let me in.
Oh, this is the bit that used to freak me out. This is so silly as a kid, but
What do you think?
that I don't like it.
Imagination
I was afraid this was gonna happen.
I don't get wrong. I know it's silly, but as a kid, that genuinely used to terrify me.
You are gonna have to use your imagination if you don't want to end up being her dinner.
What do I do?
The knights
I'm
are
gonna
there
tell
as
the
well.
story fast.
But the book's gone.
Well, then make it up. I hate when this happens.
When what happened?
Is there a bit where the witch comes through the back as well?
What's gonna happen?
Because that I used to be like, oh, I don't like it.
Stories all mixed up. It really makes things stop.
Yeah, here. Oh. Like, obviously, seeing it as an adult, I'm like, okay, whatever. But genuinely, like, childhood trauma.
They ran down to the basement where he kept his Uzi. Yeah, his Uzi. Just in case of attacks by knights, ghosts, and other nasty things.
That would be funny, though, if he just pulled out, like, a automatic weapon and just, like, go
Afraid.
gunning down the knights and
Why
stuff.
not? What's wrong with that? It's a good ending.
Yeah, maybe for some silly TV show or something, but it doesn't make sense in this story.
I don't get it. What's the big deal?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
He's in a castle type dungeon now.
I don't get it.
Oh, so the book was writing
What's the
itself
big deal,
as he...
said. Then Ricky's voice trailed off.
Cool.
Oh, man! The book! Ah! The sign!
On his t-shirt. Oh. Don't remember this bit. That's quite cool.
Cool.
I enjoyed that. I remember this bit.
Please help me, mister. I'm lost.
You wonder how she had come to be in
Don't
these
help her.
ancient ruins. She seemed out of place, as if from another time.
Another book.
Out of place, as if from another time. Or another story. You're not a little girl. You're the... Put down! Get away from me!
Love it. Slicer. I mean, the CG wasn't good there, but it was quite cool. Like, in episode of Evil Dark, you literally use a sword to slice someone open. If that was done properly, that would be like dark.
Some sort of witch or something. A knight defending a tomb. And that ghost.
All about the
The
books.
ghost.
The Ghost of the King. Is that a thing? The King's sword?
Destruction of the evil sorceress. Freed the ancient king from her spell.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh.
Right!
The brave lad's spirit, heart pounding, enveloped in the magical golden blaze.
Oh, they actually got. I thought it was like in the shadows because there was nobody actually there.
It
was like a figure. No.
He knelt to return the enchanted sword to its rightful bearer, the ancient king.
Never again would he place limits on his own imagination. No matter what terrors it was capable of conjuring.
I don't believe it.
We were
Get him
just
to read a book.
reading.
Yes, that's the part I don't believe.
Well, I guess I better be on my way.
The
Dark Tomb.
Tomb by Ricky Winner.
That's a big ass book for what he went through. I imagine it would be more of a short story, but okay.
It's just a story, Ricky. You know that.
How much do I owe you?
I've already been paid, Mrs. Winter. Good night. Call me anytime.
I mean, we get it. She's got the new book, and that's probably what they're on about.
An odd girl.
But from a parent point of view, I'd be like, What did you do to my son?
Ricky
That you
searched
don't
all
want
over
payment?
the library, but he never found another copy of The Dark Tomb by Ricky Winter, or any other of the books that Belinda brought over, because they were all first and only editions.
So every book that she has in her bag are all stories that kids went through. Cool.
I declare this meeting of the Midnight Society.
How did it all start? What was the first book?
Hey, hold on! The book that the beautiful and intelligent Betty Ann held in her hand was grabbed by that stupid little jerk Tucker, and you... Hey, how did
Gotcha.
Man, are you predictable or what?
Okay, guys, that was my reaction to Series 3, Episode 6, The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. And I really enjoyed that one again. That was as good as I remember it being. There was a lot of things there that I definitely would not have picked up on when I was younger, for sure. Like, for example, when the boy was reading the books, what I do remember, just we'll go for that first. So what I actually remember from when I was a kid was that the babysitter came, she was a bit creepy, a bit odd, and stories came to life somehow. But I didn't fully remember all about the details of what stories came to life, what was going on. I remember there being that witch character and the girl that changed into the witch. So all I remember was there was being a witch. So I think maybe I thought that was what came to life. It was like a witch that came out of the books or whatever. But I remember he went into like a castle, vaguely, sort of. So I don't remember all the details of it, even though I just remember loving the story. So things that I wouldn't have picked up on as a kid. Like the fact that he read a bit of the witch book, he read a bit of the knight's book, which explains why there was a witch and a knight and the king and whatnot in his house. See, the knight in the bedroom and in the castle was a little silly, but as a kid I probably really enjoyed it. But that king, when he's like floating down the corridor, genuinely creepy. I genuinely would have been creeped out as a kid, and as an adult I think it's a good, strong image. When it comes to the witch, however, I fully admit that as an adult it looks a bit silly. But it's one of those things that, because it scared me so much as a kid, there's still a little part of me inside that's like, oh, I don't like it. Because it just used to freak me out so much, and I don't know what it was. I think it's because it was like someone that we started to get close to and sort trust is probably the wrong term to use, but I'm going to use it. So trust, which is this Belinda, the babysitter. And oh no, it's not actually her, she's evil. And then it came up all like, bleh. And yeah, it looks silly, but I liked it. The actual premise of the story I find very interesting. The fact that she's a babysitter who goes to people's homes for people who don't like babysitters, gets them to do something they don't normally do, read a book for a few minutes, and sends them on this adventure, which kind of changes them a little bit. Now, the ending kind of raises questions of, did it actually happen or not? She says it's all in your imagination. However, the story, he did seem to go through it and live through it, and the book at the end was a real thing. The book was real, with his name on the front, with his story in the middle of it. So I don't think it was fully in his imagination. I think she had this weird mystical power where she could transport them into stories. They were never in any real danger because it is a story, but they kind of experience it, they go through it, and their brain kind of writes the ending of it. So I think there's elements of imagination, elements of it was real, but I don't think he was ever really in any proper danger. But then also it kind of raises the question of, where did it all start? Because if you have to read out a book for it to come to life, but then that story becomes the start of another book, where does the beginning part happen? But that's just me thinking way too much into it. And I generally think it's a really fun episode. Scary in hindsight, not particularly. Minus maybe the ghost. A little bit of the witch could be like scary as an idea because it takes over someone that you know or pretends to be someone that you know. But overall, I'd say it's more of a fun story. I think also what I liked about it as a kid was, whilst it also scared me, it felt like an adventure story as well. So there's this kid who doesn't like to read, but these monsters come to life, and then he ends up in a castle with a sword and a witch and a knight, and it's like this big adventure that he goes on. So I think that's probably what kept me enthralled as a kid. Like with Pinball Wizard, so much random stuff happens in that episode, from the witch, the knight, same kind of stuff. But that one had like zombie robot things. Whereas this one didn't. But I have a great time. I like it. I like Belinda. I think she's a great character. I like the monsters. The main guy, a little irritating. But you know what? He got on with it. He finished the story. And he survived the story. So I can't hate him too much, even if he was a little irritating. But overall, I think it's a really strong episode. I'm excited to see your reactions. I enjoyed the episode of Eva in the Dark. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought. And as always, my name is Scott. Hope you guys are well, taking care of yourselves and staying safe. If you enjoyed the episode, like I say, please let me know down below what your thoughts are on the reaction. And did you enjoy this tale? Thanks for watching. Take care. And I'll see you all soon for the next episode of Eva in the Dark. Bye, guys.